You are listening to the Be a Better Being podcast, hosted by the founder of Better Beings, Michelle Zellner. Michelle's experiences have equipped her with knowledge and perspective, and for nearly 3 decades, she has been informing, influencing, and inspiring thousands on their journeys. This show spotlights guests of diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise, but they all align with Michelle's purpose and passion to help you be a better human being. There is something for everyone on their way to a healthier, happier life. Enjoy the show.
Greetings. Thank you for tuning into the Be a Better Being podcast. I'm Michelle Zellner, your host. This is a little bit different episode from what you're used to. In just a moment, I'm going to link you up with a radio interview that I did a few weeks ago on Mandy Connell Show here in Denver, Colorado, on one of my very favorite topics to talk about, strength training. I've had the privilege of being on Mandy's show, probably close to 50 times over the last 5 years. And this is absolutely the best conversation and my favorite conversation we've ever had. I am so grateful she affords me that opportunity to share my message with her platform and her audience. And it was such a good one that I have to share it here as well. So we're going to hook up into that in just a moment. But before we get to that, I want to tell you a little bit about another thing that I am super passionate about. If you get my newsletter or you follow me on social media, you've already heard about this. But I am partnering with a company that is launching first of its kind ever bioactive precision peptides. Now you might be wondering, Michelle, what is a bioactive precision peptide? Well, I'm going to tell you all about it during my peptide party on Monday, November 4th. Mark your calendar, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I know it's a little late, but I want to make sure my Pacific Coast people and maybe even my Hawaii and Alaska people can join in for that as well. It's a time where I'm going to share with you why I am so excited about this, why I am doing what I vowed never, ever to do, and that is be a direct sales affiliate for a product. I've been approached many times over the last 28 years, and I've said no every time. It's just not something I ever wanted to attach my name to. I've never found anything that I was like super jazzed about. And then there's this. This has come along, and it truly is going to revolutionize the way we approach well-being. So if you are curious, and honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't be, I'm going to invite you to join us on that call. I will record it as always, so if you can't make it, please register anyway, and I'll send you the recording link. The link to register for that event will be in the show notes. There's also a link to a Google form that will just kind of allow you to share your interest in it, whether it's interest in the products, maybe interest in selling. Let me just tell you, I am not here to pitch anything, really. I'm just here to share information. That's it. People come to me for my opinion, my guidance, my information, my thoughts and ideas on everything. I am a resource people come to. And I feel like it is my duty to share with you when there is something really incredible out there. And that's what this is. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting to see all of you and sharing why I'm so excited about this. If you want a little sneak peek, feel free to follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Maybe sign up for my newsletter because I put nuggets in there as well. But you'll at least get a little idea of what I'm talking about, and then come on November 4th and learn a little more. All right, that is it for this little promo pitch. I am now going to send you into that live radio interview that I had with Mandy Connell a few weeks ago.
I have my friend, Michelle Zellner, our fitness and health guru. She has been a personal trainer, a lifestyle coach, so much of just helping people be their happiest, healthiest humans. And last week she was listening when AROD and I asked AROD if he worked out with weights. And he was like, nope, I do my cardio and I love it. And he does do his cardio and he does love it. And I was like, no, bro, you got to start lifting weights, because one of the things that I've realized at 55, that 25-year-old me who would go to Gold's Gym and work out because I had to, right? I hated every single minute of it, is how important muscle mass is as you get older. And I'm going to throw my mom under the bus for just a second. And I love my mom, but my mom has never been what's called an athlete in any way, shape, or form. And she's now 80 years old, and she had a problem with her hip, and she had to use a walker as they were sorting out what's going on with her hip. Just using the walker, she sprained her left arm. Just using the walker. And I'm like, Mom, the walker weighs like a pound. And it was too much for her because she has no muscle mass whatsoever. So I start looking around. By 80, most people have lost half their muscle mass, men and women, because they're not weight training. And Michelle, by the way, when I was talking to AROD, is lighting up my phone like, oh my God, I got to come on. I got to come on and talk about this. So here she is to talk about it. Hello, my friend.
Well, hello, Mandy. And I'm so sad that AROD's not here, but I know he's going to listen to this
podcast.
Yes,
he will.
Because it is my mission to convince him and everybody. Strength training is literally required for everybody. And, you know, AROD's in that YBI, right? Young, beautiful, and invincible. I don't look at me. I don't need to do anything. And that's the thing is we don't appreciate what, yes, if you want to be healthy, happy, high functioning, independent, it's like a car. You have to do preventive maintenance on it. And I see strength training a lot like that, right? If you want to be functional later on, well, you got to do what you need to do to be able to be functional later on. I'm surprised at that statistic that by 80, we've only lost half our muscle mass.
And they do say some people, and I think it's probably most people, realistically. I think most people have lost. And I'll never forget my now long deceased grandmother when I went to help her up. She was 82 years old. And it was like helping up a bag of bones and goo. There was no muscle mass whatsoever. And the reason I was helping her up is she could no longer get out of a chair without assistance. And I, you know, I have these things. And one of the things that I'm very proud of myself, I don't have to learn by doing the same mistakes that my parents and grandparents did. I look at them and go, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to put myself in a position where I can no longer get out of a chair unassisted. That's not how I'm going to live my life. And it's one of the reasons that I started exercising, one of the reasons that I weight train now, and one of the reasons that we're talking about this today, because I think that for women, let's talk about women for a second. Women have, my age and older, this concept that I don't want to get big. Like they're going to go lift a 5-pound weight and they're going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's talk about the reality of what that does and doesn't look like.
Right. Well, there is 0% chance. And I get that all the time. I just want to tone. I don't want to build muscle. And let's talk about what is tone. Tone is muscle that you can see because there's no body fat covering it.
Right.
You do want muscle. You need muscle. I did a lot of things early on in my life that weren't great for me, right? I have to say I'm really grateful that fitness and strength training specifically was introduced to me at a very young age through gymnastics. I did it all through college. And then when I decided to get into the industry, that's when I actually really got serious about strength training. And I need to give a huge shout out to Kathy Green, who owned the gym that I worked at, because I was the cardio queen.
Right.
Gotta do cardio.
But this was the 80s and 90s, right?
Yes.
It was the 80s and 90s when everybody, you'd walk into a gym and there would be a tiny little weight area and there would be 70,000 stair steppers and treadmills and ellipticals and all of this cardio. And then just the muscle heads went over to the corner with the weights.
Well, Kathy owned this gym and Kathy was a trailblazer in this. This is back in 1996, 7. She was lifting weights. She was a personal trainer. She said, Michelle, you really need to do this more seriously. I dabbled, right? But I got to do cardio.
Yeah.
Well, when I decided to take her up on this idea, I never looked back because your muscle is magical for so many reasons. Obviously the strength to just do life.
Right.
Like when I see people struggling with something, my heart is like, oh, if you only were strengthening your muscles, your life would be so much easier.
Let me talk about that for some of our older audience members. My personal trainer loves senior fitness. It's one of her passions. She has taught senior fitness for a very long time. And her thing is, by doing this motion, when you've got a small weight in your hand and you're lifting it over your head, you're able to put your groceries away. And she attaches all of these things to real life. Like, these are why we're doing it. Do you want to live independently? Do you want to be able to take care and stay in your home? Do you want to be able to get up off the ground if you fall? Right? Isn't that the fear that someone older is going to fall and you're not going to know it and they're going to be on the ground? That happens more often than we care to think about because people simply don't have the physical strength to get up. Okay. So this is why it's important, but is it ever too late to start? And that's my next question.
It is never too late to start. The longer you wait, the harder you need to work to just maintain and slow down the rate of decline. The thing is, we are losing muscle mass at a rate of anywhere from 1 to 10% a year. And you are losing it if you don't use it. So if you don't do anything to actively work and build your muscles, and yes, AROD, climbing on your incline, great, awesome for your quads.
Yep.
That's pretty much the only muscle you're working there.
Right.
We have a whole bunch of muscles in the rest of our lower body, our upper body. They all need to be worked because you can't get through life just with strong quads. You're also going to create imbalances that could lead to some other issues down
hamstring
the line.
issues.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask this, because this is a big question, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff lately. Like calisthenics are kind of having a comeback where you're essentially using body weight and you're doing exercises that you don't even need weights for. What are your thoughts on calisthenics versus weight training? And if we do need weight training specifically, what are we looking at in terms of how much weight do we need to lift?
So it really depends on the overall goal. Am I trying to slow down the rate of decline? Am I trying to maintain? Or am I trying to build? So calisthenics can help you slow down the rate of decline.
Okay.
For sure. Now,
well, our friend Hazel, she still does push-ups. She's 93 years old. She does push-ups. She does crunches. She does squats. She does all of, but as far as I know, she uses no weight, but she has she's in great shape.
Well, and that goes to the overload principle. So it depends on how many are you doing,
right?
To what point, fatigue or failure. So if you do calisthenics, let's say you're going to do body weight squats. If you keep doing those squats until you literally can't do one more squat,
right,
then you're going to maintain and probably build. Most people don't do squats until they literally can't do one more squat.
Right.
Right. So when it comes to how heavy or how often, it's really about the overload principle, and that is to the point of fatigue or failure. Can I do one more with good form? If you can, you kind of need to.
Right.
Right. Now, if you choose not to, then you have slowed down the rate of decline because you've used your muscles, but you didn't use them to the degree that's going to build. You may have used it to the degree where we're going to maintain.
Right.
So it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. And then, what exercises, weights, resistance bands, body weight exercise, whatever. Again, that really I don't ever want to tell somebody you need to do it this way, because if they can't or won't do it that way, then they'll do nothing.
Right, right.
So I always like to look at what are you willing and able to do?
Right.
What is realistic for you? And I just had this conversation with a dear friend yesterday, when she used to work out, she used to train with me. And I said, look, do push-ups and squats in your house, right? Because she's like, oh, I could join this gym and I could get this equipment. I'm like, get some 15-pound dumbbells, hold them, do squats, do bicep curls, do push-ups. Do that 3 times a week. You are leaps and bounds ahead of where you are today.
Right, right. And I think that's the all or nothing thinking about this kind of stuff is, okay, I have to join a gym. I have to go in there. I have to lift heavy weights. And that's just not necessarily accurate. It's more about just consistency.
Consistency is so critical. We start to decondition within 72 hours after you've stopped using that muscle.
Really? So
Yes.
It takes that. Well, I can tell you that just from going on vacation.
Right.
I mean, when you go on, now I've started working out on vacation just because I don't want to have the drop off when I get back. But even 10 days off, you can feel the difference.
So when I am out of my normal structure, my workouts are to prevent the rate of decline, right? That's how I manage when I'm not in my normal routine here at home. I'm traveling or people are in town or whatever. The schedule is really, really full. Okay. Well, I'm going to do as much as I can to prevent decline. That's my goal at that time. When I'm kind of in a more regular schedule, I'm going to do everything I can to either maintain or build, depending on where I happen to be in my own health at the point.
Right.
And so that consistency is so critical. And I've worked with so many people like, yeah, I used to strength train. I really liked it. And then I just stopped. Well, that's the thing is once you stop, at some point, it's almost like
you're back to
over.
zero. Yeah.
Not
but
totally, right?
This is what I tell people all the time. What's been amazing for me is how quickly you can build strength. It's not like you're going to be lifting 5-pound weights for the next 6 weeks. You do 5-pound weights for a couple weeks, then you're like, you know what? I can go up to those 8-pound weights this time. And you can go up incrementally like that so fast.
Yes. And you have to, right? If you are doing the same thing forever, again, you're probably just slowing down the rate of decline, which, great, that's totally fine, right? If that's your goal and that's all you want to put into it, all you're willing or able to put into it, that's great. If you want to maintain where you are today, or you want to get better from where you are today for next week, next year, 10 years, 30 years from now, then that's a little more effort. That's a little more time. It's probably more weight. It's different exercises. But consistency is always part of the mix.
I want to give some of the stats. I actually retweeted this thread from a doctor named Dr. Patty Barrett. And I did look up because I was like, Patty Barrett, is that a real doctor's name? But it is. And one of the things he put on here, cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death worldwide. High levels of muscle mass achieved by regular resistance training are associated with lower coronary artery calcification scores, which is a marker of plaque and an indicator of increased risk. So that is about your heart health.
Well, and so here's the thing. This is what is so critical. Muscle is metabolically active, right? Muscle is utilizing your fuel, i.e. glucose, every single second of your life. Fat kind of sits around and doesn't do anything. You know my food issues early on in my life.
Yes.
I hesitate to think what my health would have been if I didn't have muscle.
Yeah.
Because that muscle was burning up all the sugar I was eating. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And if I'm all about, burn it off through cardio, right?
Yeah.
No, it's the muscle that saved me. I know
Yeah.
that. And as I took strength training more seriously and built muscle mass and really have worked hard to maintain and continue to build that, I know that's the reason that my weight has been able to be stable. Well, I'm going to be 52 next month. So I know it's because of muscle, because I've had it and I've never lost it. And I've only continued to choose to build it over the course of time. So this is why I'm so passionate about it. And everybody, man, woman, I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your goals are. Skeletal muscle is the thing that's going to allow you to stay high functioning.
And that's what I want to impart. And it's easier to put yourself into a situation where you're not playing catch up by just making weight training a regular part of your life. And I want to give a few more stats here. Resistance training is associated with a range of benefits: a 15% decrease in all-cause mortality, a 19% decrease in cardiovascular death, 14% decrease in cancer deaths, and with greater than 60 minutes per week, all-cause mortality drops by 27%. That's just from lifting weights.
Well, and let's talk about as you get older and we're unstable, right? Muscle around your joints keeps your joints stable.
Yep, and strong.
You want to not fall down? Well, then let's have some stability.
And core
around the
strength
joints.
is incredibly important for balance going forward. It is like the key. Your core is the key of everything when you get older.
Well, and bone density. I mean, I talk to a lot of people, and there are a lot of very small-framed males and females, and they are at very high risk for osteoporosis.
Yeah.
We don't think about osteoporosis when we're 30, but we should.
Yeah.
Because by the age of 28, you have achieved peak bone mass. After that, your rate of withdrawal out of your bone bank is much more aggressive than your rate of deposit. And so, strength training is one of the best ways to help continue to build the bone bank because of the constant contraction of the two muscles around the bone, helping to stimulate that bone growth.
So for me, I always hated to work out. It's only been within, the last maybe 5-6 years. I found a trainer I absolutely love and have made it a habit. And now I'm one of those people that's like, I didn't get to do any exercise today, because ultimately it helps me sleep better. It helps with my mood. I call it the anti-murder drug. If you're a high stress individual, there is nothing more satisfying than working your body to the point of failure when you are super stressed. It almost seems counterintuitive, but I think that we all hold this stress in our body all the time, and lifting heavy things is the easiest way to just take that physical part of stress away. So let me ask you this. If somebody's our listening audience right now and they don't have any weights, they don't want to join a gym, what is the best way, baby steps to do this?
I mean, I'm always going to be concerned about proper form and alignment. So if you really don't know what you're doing, I am going to encourage you to invest some time and money to work with a professional who can at least evaluate your biomechanics, evaluate your form. The worst thing to do is to get hurt. The second worst thing to do is to waste your time.
Right.
And so, if you really have never gone down this road before, then why not just make sure you're going to do it right? And there's plenty of people you can find who can even do these things virtually. You can find a gym and just do a couple of these things. If you have a decent sense of body awareness. There's plenty of things online, right? Lots of apps, lots of things on YouTube, but keep it simple. Figure out what are you willing and able to devote, how much time and what kind of equipment, right? Maybe we're going to start with body weight. We're going to do push-ups. We're going to do body weight squats. Awesome. You're leaps and bounds ahead of what you were doing yesterday.
And let me just say this. When I first started working out with my trainer like 6-7 years ago now, I could only do 3 push-ups. And now I don't even know how many push-ups I do in a workout. It's that many that I'm not counting. So don't be discouraged if you can't do a push-up or you have trouble doing a crunch or you have trouble doing these things, because like I said, the strength that you build so fast is so shocking. And then when you feel strong, like that is the very best way to feel.
And it's really hard to help somebody wrap their head around what that feels like when you've never felt it.
Right.
Right. You get used to just feeling the way you feel and you're like, oh, that can't be that big of a deal. And then you feel it. You're like, whoa, I never not want to feel this way.
Exactly. Which is why I now work out on vacation, because that Monday getting back from vacation, it's like, well, here I feel like a giant tub of goo because all I did was eat everything for the last 10 days. And now I'm going to come back and exercise. Michelle, how can people get in touch with you? If they would, I don't know if you still, if you're still doing that, or are you just doing the corporate stuff? What are you doing right now?
I do a little bit of one-on-one guidance coaching. I don't do any personal training anymore, but I can certainly help somebody sort things out. And they can just go to my website, betterbeings.net, contact me. It's very easy to find me.
This is just one of those things that seems really, really intimidating until you know how to do it. And then you're like, wow, part of me is feeling kind of stupid thinking that this is... You know,
it's normal to feel intimidated about something you have no idea, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in a gym, so it's like no big deal, but I get it when someone that's a foreign world to them and they think everybody's looking at them and they don't know what they're doing and they're self-conscious. And you know what? We just got to get over that fear. Because
trust me, no one's looking at you.
Exactly.
And if they are looking at you, they're thinking about themselves as they're looking at you. They're not looking at you.
Or they're looking at you and they're thinking, good job, you.
Yeah.
So happy that you're here in this gym doing that.
Can we talk about gyms for just a second? Because gyms are not a one is right for everybody kind of situation. You should go in and look around, like the time of day you want to go work out, like say, okay, I'm going to go at 7 a.m. Go to that gym at 7 a.m. Look who else is there. For a long time, I worked out at a rec center in Douglas County. And when I went to the gym, I was the only person under 70 years old that was there. But I loved it because everybody's like, young lady, are you done? Oh, yes, I am. Go ahead and take that. I'm finished, sir. Thank you. Figure out where you want to be. And if you make an appointment with a trainer and you don't like them, make an appointment with a different trainer. It's like anything else. It's not one size fits all.
No, and I think that's, part of like, oh, everybody wants like this cookie cutter, just do this.
No.
And we got to get over the idea that exists and just recognize you're a unique individual. You have unique individual needs. Take the time to invest in yourself so that your future self can live that life.
And this is an investment that will pay off over and over and over and over again as you continue to age and be strong and be healthy and be able to get up out of a chair and be able to get up off the floor if you fall and you not fall in the first place.
Well, and I know, especially the YBI, they think, well, that will never be me. I'll never have a problem getting off the floor. Right.
Yeah, sneaks up on you a lot faster than you think it does.
And that's the thing is it doesn't have to be you, but you need to do things to make sure that it isn't you.
Yep. Michelle Zellner, a joy as always. I put a link. Did I put a link? Did I forget today? I always put a link. Hang on. If I didn't put a link, I will add a link to Michelle's website, betterbeings.net. I actually just got a friend of mine to buy her book, The You Revolution, because I think that if you are at a point where you want to change your healthy life, the You Revolution book that she has is phenomenal. And it doesn't give you the just eat this for 3 days and you'll lose 50 pounds. It's very realistic, but it will help you cut through the crap and create new habits for yourself. I will add that link right now.
Thank you, Mandy.
All right, good to see you, Michelle Zellner. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Being podcast. We hope that what you heard today inspires you to embrace this journey of life with an open mind, a kind heart, and a willingness to learn and evolve. If you have a show topic idea or would like to be a guest, please visit betterbeings.net and fill out a contact form. Until next time, go and be a better being.